If you're into Japanese folklore at all, you've definitely heard of Kitsune, the clever fox, and Tanuki, the kind of goofy raccoon dog. But what if I told you they're way more than just characters in old stories? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on their secret history.
So, what are they really? Are they just pranksters? Are they divine beings? Or are they something else? Something more like a mirror, reflecting the soul of an entire nation as it changed over hundreds of years? Well, the answer gets surprisingly deep, so let's dive right in.
Okay, so on the surface, it seems pretty straightforward, right? You've got the Kitsune, always elegant, super clever, a master of illusions. And then you have the Tanuki, usually seen as this bumbling, fun-loving dude, a symbol of good luck and good times. But that's really just the tip of the iceberg, trust me.
To get to the real story here, we've got to look past those popular myths. It's time to peel back the layers and see what these characters can tell us about Japan's actual history.
And this, right here, is the absolute key. The tales of Kitsune and Tanuki are not just for fun, they are a living, breathing record of history. Think of them like a cultural barometer, tracking these massive shifts in Japan's identity as it went from being this nation deeply tied to the land to the modern, urban powerhouse we know today.
So let's hop in the time machine and rewind the clock. Way back, before the giant cities, Japan was an agrarian society. You know, a world where everything depended on the land. And in that world, these creatures weren't seen as tricksters, not even close. They were gods.
And what's so wild is just how connected they were to everyday life. The Kitsune was honored as a messenger for the god of rice and harvest. They kind of represented the two sides of nature. Helpful one minute, but a wild, untamable force the next. The Tanuki was seen as this powerful spirit of the mountains, a symbol of pure, raw abundance. These weren't just myths, they were your neighbors. This timeline just lays it all out perfectly. They start off as these worshipped spirits of the land, but then everything changes. As cities started to boom, especially during the Edo period, their stories got a total rewrite. They basically moved from the forest into the city and became these complicated urban tricksters. And now, they've been transformed all over again, into the pop culture icons we see all over the place.
So, what happens when a nature spirit packs up and follows people into a crowded, noisy city? Well, their stories have to change, because the challenges people were facing had completely changed. And this is where that whole trickster thing really comes into play. Their little pranks and illusions evolved. They became these really complex stories about how to survive in a confusing new urban world. These tales were how people processed all that change, using stories about shape-shifting and cleverness to talk about how to adapt when your whole world is being turned upside down.
Okay, so let's fast forward to today. Because this isn't just some dusty old history lesson. These figures are alive and kicking in modern Japan, and they've carried all those centuries of meaning right along with them.
And I mean it, they are everywhere. You've got nine-tailed fox spirits in your favorite anime. You've got shape-shifting Tanuki in huge video games. They've become mascots for companies. They're on good luck charms. They're just woven right into the fabric of everyday life.
Here is a perfect example you can actually see. You'll often spot these super charming Tanuki statues sitting outside restaurants. But they're not just cute decorations. Oh no, they are a direct link back to the Tanuki's ancient role as a symbol of generosity and abundance. It's basically a little prayer for good luck for the business. It's history that you can literally walk right past on the street.
So when you put it all together, what does it all mean? What are these amazing stories about gods who became tricksters, who then became corporate mascots? What do they really tell us about a culture?
This quote just hits the nail on the head. The story of the Kitsune and Tanuki, it isn't really about them. It's the story of Japan. The way they transform from these powerful nature gods into savvy city slickers perfectly mirrors the nation's own incredible journey. It reflects all the anxieties, all the cleverness, and that constantly changing relationship with the world around them. Ultimately, these tales are a powerful reminder that the stories we tell about our gods, our heroes, even our monsters, are really just stories about ourselves. They're a map of who we are and where we've been. And that leaves us with one last big question to think about. What do our modern myths say about us? And what kind of story will we be leaving for the future?